tequila, yeah.
Tequila.
Clase Azul, yeah.
Clase Azul. It's nice and soft, nice and soft.
Bro, this is nice, bro. This is beautiful.
This is beautiful.
This is a beautiful moment.
All right, guys, welcome back. Episode 5. We finally did episode 5. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Christian. Our other host is Alex.
Yo.
Today we have a special guest. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, people. John Rojas with All Labs Today. You can find me at All Labs Today.
There you go. I like that. I like that excitement.
Bro, I love the energy, bro. I love the energy.
Yo, thank you so much for having us in your beautiful home.
No,
And,
seriously.
I know we're gonna play a little game, afterwards. But thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's about having a good time, man.
That's right.
No,
that's
for
right.
sure. Like your home is it's beautiful. Like for those of you guys who don't know, we're literally like just chilling in this little patio right here. You got the pool in the back. As soon as you walk in, patio, pool, it's lit. But all right, let's start off talking about you. So what you advertise as far as like your Instagram, right? Which was All Labs Today. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what is All Labs Today.
So yeah, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an entrepreneur.
Yep.
And one of my recent projects that I'm working on right now is a new lab, medical lab, and it's All Labs Today. And my goal is to have it up and running by December, by the end of this year, hopefully, or maybe the beginning of January.
So it's not up and running yet, but it's something that you're working on doing now. And then, so what is it? Like, what's All Labs Today? Like for people who don't know, right?
Right. It's I'm just gonna throw out a name there. It's like a LabCorp or Quest.
LabCorp Request.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got you.
it's a medical lab diagnostics where you can get your blood test, but our concept is a little different, more convenient, affordable for people who cannot afford it. And the main thing is that you have access to it from your phone or from your computer.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
You can order your own panel. You are in charge of your own health, so you don't have to get a doctor's notice, or you don't need anything from a prescription. You just go in there, log in on your phone, order your whatever you want to get. If you want to check your diabetes, if you want to check your cholesterol,
Oh, snap.
boom, go in there. You get your results within 24 hours.
No more doctor visits, basically. I mean, obviously you still get to go to the doctor, but
Yeah, no. Right now, nowadays people don't want to use like the insurance or doctors. They want to make sure, hey, you know what? I don't want anyone to know what's going on with my health. So what I do is, you just go there, check how your health is. That is the only way someone can know how your health is, by doing a blood work.
doing blood work. Okay.
Exactly. That's how you.
So that's what you do. Like, so they go to your business, they get blood work done, and then you kind of do their blood work or whatever, and then you put their diagnostics and all that into the app.
Yeah, no,
whatever.
Yeah,
like
you get
all
it
their levels
via email or via text message. You get your results, and
you get all your results for your blood work.
Exactly, and then if you're working with a primary physician or a doctor, you can share those results with your doctor, or you can actually just read and see what's going on with your health.
Dang.
Look at that.
So where did that idea come from? Like, just like, what do you like? I know you didn't just wake up one day and like, or you weren't like 12 years old, unless you were maybe.
You know what? Let's start there. We want to know what John from the beginning.
Yeah.
How did all this come about? How this entrepreneur come about?
Yeah.
Good question, man. I'm originally from Bogota, Colombia. Just if you guys wonder.
Colombia.
Colombia, shout out Colombia. That's right.
And I come from a very, very humble family.
Okay.
We grew up, I don't want to say poor, but without the
Luxury.
The luxury, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I learned, when I was a child is, like just to hustle, to work hard. Whatever you can do, because when you see your parents working really hard and you don't see money coming in, you're like, man, I need to do something for my family. You want to make a difference. So, and when you live in a country that doesn't provide that opportunity that this country offers.
Yeah.
So man, one of the things that I started doing when I was young is from middle. I remember working in middle school. I bought a bag of like chocolates.
No way.
Okay.
And I started just selling, individual chocolates for people just to make my lunch money.
That's hot.
Are you serious?
That's hot.
Bro, what?
Because I saw like my classmates with, they some of them brought lunch, and I was like, man, we didn't have enough for not even to buy lunch. We have to wait until the end of the class, of school, and then go home and then just eat whatever my mom make.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is not good, man. So I got bag of chocolates, and I started selling individually, and then that's how I started making profit
For your lunch money.
for my lunch.
So
money.
basically, like, so because I'm trying to get where this entrepreneurship, like this mindset, came from. So, like, for an example, you and your parents, growing up less fortunate. Let's not say poor. Let's say less fortunate, right? To the point where you didn't know where your lunch was gonna come from, and it's not like you said your parents were working really hard, and it's not like you can go ask your parents like, hey. Can I get some lunch money or something like that? So you took it upon yourself to find a way. Like, how did you just came up with that? Like, it just came into your head? Like, I want food, and I'm not going to ask my parents for money, so I'm going to do it myself?
Yes and no, because every time, when you ask your parents and they don't have, they're like, hey, you think what, money grows on trees? Or,
Yes.
And I'm
It's
like,
true.
man, so I'm like, I'm gonna grow money, so
Yeah.
I just decided to, if you don't have enough for me, I'm good, I'm gonna try to do it myself.
I
And then
like
that's
that.
how I started.
Money
by-
doesn't grow on trees, but I'm going to grow money. Dang.
Hey, that's right, that's right,
Bro,
that's
that's
right.
so good.
Yeah, no,
So that's how you kind of started. Okay, so then you started. What was the next hustle that you can remember?
Your first job, even.
So I would say, so that's how I started with small things. Then I upgraded, and then instead of chocolates, I started doing sandwiches.
Okay.
So so I started selling sandwiches. It's a funny story. It
But
happened
that's crazy.
in class, man, because it was one time because I was doing this during class, like during school.
Yeah.
So between classes, people, hey, John, I need 4 sandwiches and then I was like, yeah, passing it under the table because the teacher, they can't see you that you're selling stuff in school.
Yeah.
So and it was one time that someone like poked my eye, man. And I was like, of course I had money already because they gave me money,
Yeah.
and, hey, I'm missing my sandwich. And I'm like, man, wait, hold on. And I was trying to get those sandwiches from the bag. Man, that day I lost money.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because they were, no, I gave you your money, and I was like, I couldn't see well, I was like, man.
Yeah.
So it was funny, but it was an experience that I never forget because it's just when you try to make money, you do
there's
whatever,
always gonna
whatever
be.
you can.
Yeah, bro, that is crazy.
So that's how I started, man. Like upgrading, like on food stuff. Then
My boy had his own Chick-fil-A in Colombia.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, damn.
Then we, I would say, when I was like 9 years old,
Yeah.
our parents, we came to the U.S. That was the first time we came to the U.S.
Gotcha.
when
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
9 years old.
How old were you? 9?
I was 9,
Okay.
yeah. And then we came here. We stayed for a year. I went to I did 4th grade here in Chicago, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So we stayed for a full year, and then we went back. And I always ask myself, why did we go back when we were here? That year that we were here,
Yeah.
everything was so different, man. Like we had food, we were like people were super helpful, like
Yeah.
we were going out without thinking, I'm gonna get robbed, like it was like
Yeah.
completely different.
Oh, Colombia was like that? Like you had to...
In Colombia, you go out there and then you can wear a nice watch or you can
Yeah.
just drive a nice car because people, you
They get greedy or
Yeah.
they have envy.
envy and people, they things, bad things can happen.
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
You know?
for sure.
But here, people, people are not. I see people are not jealous. They like they support you. They like to,
Yeah.
they actually admire you. They see you in a good car. Hey, let me take a picture.
Yeah.
Over there, they see you in a good car. They just pass by like, whatever, So you can see.
Yeah.
So well, we stayed here for a year. I went back, and then of course my parents started. They worked hard for that year here.
Yes.
They saved enough money. We went back to Colombia, and then we lived good. I would say for about a year or two.
Uh-huh.
And then guess what?
Back.
Back
Boom.
again. And why that happened? Because so I asked, why are we going
Yeah, why did
back
you guys
to
go back if you guys
yeah.
were doing good here?
Because it all depends on how you think.
Okay.
Your mentality,
Ooh.
like your mindset. And unfortunately, I don't want to say like my parents don't have like that mindset, but it's not as wide as or wise like the way I see it,
Yes.
Because they thought maybe I'm gonna save some money and then I go back and then I think I can
Live with that. Live off of that.
exactly.
Live off that.
Of
Okay.
course, money's gonna run out.
Dang,
Yes.
yeah.
So we're like, man, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can do something a little bit different. So no, we we unfortunately we had to stay there. We couldn't fly back here because of course to buy a tickets is expensive over there.
Yes.
Fortunate us, we had the our visa, so we were able to to travel. but we didn't have the funds, you know.
For
to
sure,
come.
for sure, for sure.
So we know I started working in a restaurant over there when I was maybe 13, 12, 13. That was like
So
my first job. I
That's
would
your
say.
first real job where you were getting
First
paid.
real job,
Okay,
yeah.
got you.
And on a restaurant, but not in the restaurant.
Okay.
I was working like a sales. Like I was standing outside the restaurant, bringing people to come into the restaurant.
Oh, snap.
So I was like, hey, we have our special today, rice and chicken, come on. So every time I bring someone to the restaurant, I was getting paid per seat.
Oh, no way.
Okay, so that's okay.
You
okay.
see? So I had to, so I was like, I need to bring as many people as possible because
Yeah.
there was, and the street out, like it was like a market. And the street that we were, like the restaurant that I was working for,
Yes.
it was not the only restaurant. It was like multiple restaurants.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I had
okay.
to convince. So imagine someone, you walking by,
Yeah.
and then you see a lot of restaurants, and why are you gonna come to the restaurant that I'm telling you, not to the other one? You see?
That's
So I
right.
had to like convince them. Hey, no, we have really good special. Come over. So you have to like be very aggressive. And,
Yeah.
And you, of course, we were able to bring it in there, and then they see it, they eat. After they finish eating, then we got paid per seat. So it was
Wow.
that was like one of my real
Commission,
jobs.
yeah. And you know, it's crazy that you say that because maybe you didn't know it at the time, but I think at that time you were like sharpening your skill of being
Yeah,
like
bro.
a sales guy.
Yeah.
You were thinking I'm gonna get paid, but you weren't like thinking of, oh, how can I convince him? I mean, you were, but you weren't like kind of in the back
Yeah,
of
at
the head.
13,
like,
you're not really
You're
like,
not like.
you just know people come in, money, how can I
Yes.
bring people in?
Exactly.
Yeah.
yes. And we were doing it because we wanted to have like a better lifestyle. Or
Yes,
I
for
wanted
sure.
to have like a better lifestyle. You know, I wanted to buy better things for me, and that was the only way. You know, like trying to, like sales. And I think you're right. You know, like at that age, you don't think about it, but you're little by little you're getting it, and
Yeah.
that was one of the things that So after this job,
Yes.
I something that changed my mind. Like I was like, you know what? I want to be like a millionaire when I get 30. That was like my goal.
How old were you there?
I was 15, 16
15,
when I
16.
was like, you know what? I need to do something. Yeah, because that was before I came here, like for the my last time. So
For sure, yeah.
I was like 15, 14, 15. I read Poor Dad, Rich Dad from Robert.
No way.
And I
You
was
read
like,
that at 14 or
Yeah.
at 15, 16?
correct.
That's
And I was like, man, you know what? I can do this. You know, like this is
Yeah.
like open my mind. So at 16 years old,
Y'all go get that book, bro.
yeah, no, for real. So we came to actually my parents were like, you know what? We're gonna send you because I have an older brother. He's 1 year older.
Okay,
yes.
And my parents were like, you know what? We are gonna send you to the U.S. again, but I want you guys to stay there.
Wow.
Because here we don't see a future for you guys in here. is what they told us.
Wow. Yeah.
Of course, all the family, like my mom's brother, my uncles,
Yeah.
like all the family were like judging my parents. Why are you gonna send your kids to a different,
To a different
to
country.
a different country by themselves? Like,
correct.
they're so young,
Yeah.
Like, I was 16, my other brother, 17, so it was 1 year apart. So everyone was against it.
Correct. Yeah, yes.
And they were like, you know what? No, we have to. So they were able to save enough to buy the tickets to bring us here. So we came to the U.S. hoping that we were gonna stay with a family member,
Sure.
right? During that time, my uncles or my aunt was expecting. So last minute, they called our parents and they were like, you know what? Unfortunately, we cannot take care of, or because we have family
bring
here.
in.
We
Yeah,
have
you
family
can't
here.
house
We
them.
can't
You
bring-
can't house
bring
them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're teenagers. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do it. But that was like last minute when we were like pretty much, we had.
You guys were
tickets
already ready.
Yeah. Right. So my mom, she had to call friends from church
Okay.
Oh, wow.
and say, hey, you know what? Who can help our kids? We're going to the U.S. So finally, we got an aunt who lived in Mississippi.
Did you know her very well or
No,
not?
not
really.
much. Not really. No, not really.
Wow.
But my aunt who lived in Mississippi, she was like, yeah, have them come in. And we're like, hey,
Wow, that's
we
nice.
were excited because we were coming to United
Yeah,
States.
you guys are coming to the U.S.
But we don't know
Mississippi,
about,
though.
Yeah, my geography bad, man. And I was like, Mississippi.
You're like, hey, like U.S. Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't care, man. Yeah, like, so we were super excited, man. I don't know what Mississippi is, but let's have fun here. Man. Well, she was living on a trailer.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
No,
There-
I mean,
Nothing wrong, nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong with Mississippi, but it's not Florida, California, New York. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there was like no roads, like gravel. It was like
it's countryside.
Countryside.
correct, yeah. So so of course, we came there, and they were like, okay, now you guys have to work because you guys, I cannot, like.
Yeah,
you
can't
guys
have you guys,
Yeah,
like,
you have to
Yeah, yeah.
do
Yeah, stay
something. So we were like, yeah, whatever, because we already knew what's working.
You want to conquer.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to do something.
Our first job in Mississippi at the farm, picking up berries.
Picking up what?
Berries,
Oh.
blueberries.
What
Look
the
at
hell?
that.
So we were like, yeah, whatever it is. So we have to wake up like around 5:30 in the morning, 6 a.m. And then that was an all-day job, man.
Yeah,
You know,
dude.
and
For
then-
anything farming, bro, it's all day.
It's all day. So, around 8:30, 9 p.m., we were coming back home. And it was under the sun. It was June, man. It was
Oh.
June, July. It was like the hottest
Months.
months of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
And in Colombia, we lived in the city. So there's it's completely different, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know.
We work in the city, but
You-
never
yeah.
working on a farm.
No.
Under the sun,
It will humble you.
man, we had blisters on our neck. It was like bad. We never been under the sun.
Wow.
Not only that, man, but because we're not used to this type of work. So our job was to pick up berries.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how we were getting paid. Every time we were getting paid by filling up buckets.
Oh,
Per bucket, we
shit.
get paid $5 per bucket.
$5 per bucket?
So it took us about 3 hours to fill up a bucket. For us, 3 hours, $5, we were like millionaires. In our mind, because we were like, hey,
Hustling.
let's do the math and convert dollars into pesos and see how much we're making. We
Yeah.
were like, man, we did 3 buckets today. It was $15. Ooh, wow.
Well, you're like,
That was, you see the mentality, man?
yeah.
So we were very excited, but people who work on the farm, it was, from Mexico, people
Yeah,
that
yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah.
really, they hustle.
Yeah.
And they were filling those buckets in 30 minutes.
Mm.
What it took us in 3 hours, these guys were doing it in 30, 45 minutes. And we're like, man, these guys are fast. So
Yeah.
we were trying to,
Keep up, trying.
So we did some improvements. So we ended up doing each bucket maybe with an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But never like,
Never 30 minutes?
Never 30 minutes. They were, these guys,
Bro.
and they've been doing it for years.
Years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's,
yeah. They
It's
have
just
years
the
of
practice.
experience,
Like,
it's
just
So
They can do that with their eyes closed. They just, as soon as they go in, blah, 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 knock it out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we were like, so after 30 days, we were like, no, we're in the US, really cool, but no, this is not
Yeah.
a life.
No.
This can't be. So we call our parents and we're like, no, can you talk to our uncles who lives in Chicago? Because this is here is bad.
yes,
bad.
You're like,
you're
"Oh,
right.
shit."
You're right. Yeah, yeah.
So that was when one of our friends from church
Yes.
allowed us to come in to their house. They were like, yeah, come over.
In Mississippi or in Chicago?
In Chicago.
In Chicago. Okay, gotcha.
So we went to. Let me tell you, when we came to Mississippi,
Yes.
at the airport, we had to sleep at the airport.
Oh,
Because
wow.
They didn't pick us up like the next day. We have to like stay like overnight there, like the whole day without like eating. Sleeping on concrete. So like the beginning was tough.
Wow.
Now going to Chicago, we took the bus, and the bus same thing. When we got to the
Terminal?
to the terminal, man, stay there for hours, man, because So finally they picked us up, and then we stayed at our mom's friend,
Yes.
and man, we just said, hey, whatever we need to do here, we're here to to
Start from scratch. Let's
start-
do
yeah,
it.
whatever
Let's
it
do
is. But our parents were like, no, you guys have to go back to school. You guys still young. I didn't finish high school when I was, I was 10th grade, junior.
Yeah.
And my brother, he was missing 1 year too. So you guys have to go back to school and then work. But priority, go to school.
So in Mississippi, you didn't go to school?
No, we just work.
Straight working.
What?
Nah, man.
Bro, that's crazy.
The
So then in Chicago, when you went to Chicago, they're like, hey, you guys got to go to school.
yeah. So
So you guys were a year behind.
we were a year. Plus, when we don't speak English, then
That's you're not really a year behind. You're more. You're more behind.
The only area that we're doing really good was in math.
Ooh, yeah.
because
Hey.
math, like
That's universal.
Universal.
That's
Yeah. 1+1 is always gonna be 2, bro.
but
That's
we were
crazy.
like really behind. And so then my uncle, who was expecting, then he was super kind to go and visit us and say, hey, took us to the gym, and
Yeah,
start,
yeah, for sure.
so that's how we started, living with in Chicago. Well, we were able to go back to school. I started, I went to high school. My brother, same thing. We started delivering paper for work. So we were waking up 2:30 in the morning, deliver paper,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
go to school, and then I was involved in
Wait, how early in the morning?
2 a.m. 2:30.
You'd wake up 2 a.m., deliver paper, and then still make it to school. You still had to make it to school on time?
Yeah, of course.
What time did you go to sleep?
Good question, man. We were going to sleep because I was involved in sports too. So after high
Holy
school,
shit.
I was playing tennis. I was
Tennis? Okay.
playing tennis at school, and then I was going to sleep. I would say maybe 10:30.
Oh my.
And then
Because I have
getting
to
up
do
at
school
2.
work and all that stuff. Huh?
So yeah,
you
going to
have-
sleep
you-
at 10, going and getting up at 2.
So you
there's
averaged
no sleep.
4 hours of sleep throughout the week.
And for those who work at delivering paper, that job, man, that's every day. There's no
There's no days.
weekends.
Yeah.
There's no holidays. So you work, and you can't call sick, because
They need
they
need
need
paper.
need
They
their
need,
they need their newspaper.
It's not like Facebook now where you could just fucking wake up, scroll in, you get all your information. Just like, all right, bet, put it back in your pocket.
Yeah, no, that's a tough job. And then in Chicago, when you work all 4 seasons,
Oh, that's right.
in winter, that's
Oh, yeah, Chicago's
crazy,
brutal.
man. That's
Chicago's
crazy.
brutal.
It is crazy. With the snow,
Yeah.
they don't clean those roads that early, so you have to drive super carefully. I went into like 2 different car accidents just because because the roads were all snow.
The roads were all snow. I remember the first time I went to Colorado, we were driving, and we didn't know what the hell we were doing, but literally, like, I remember we were sliding. Like, we had to drive, I remember Hector was driving, I was sitting in the driver's seat, and we are going, like, slow, because we could literally feel our car, like, start to, like, kind
Slide.
of, there's a word for it. I forget what it's called.
We're Floridians. We just
Yeah,
call it
it don't
slide. We
matter.
just
Yeah,
say
it was
slide.
just sliding. Yeah, it just started sliding, and it was like, bro, you could literally feel. And it's crazy because like in Colorado on the side, like we're on the mountain, so if you slid off and you fall, like you're dying, like you're going down. So dang, that's crazy.
No, it is. And then you have all these newspapers in your car.
Yeah,
No, it is
hydroplane, I think was the word. Go ahead.
What is it?
I think it's called hydroplane. Yeah, hydroplaning. Yeah, go ahead.
So definitely it is tough, but that you get used to it. You're like when you have a purpose, in mind, you're looking for like to achieve a goal.
Mm-hmm.
You're like whatever this takes, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And we were just like just delivering paper and going to school, man.
So at this point, right, where you're at,
Yeah. Columbia, Mississippi. Now you're in.
You're always
yeah.
hustling, right? So I see that mentality kind of keeps going no matter where you're at. If you're picking blueberries, if you're delivering, if you're
Paper.
bringing people in. Now let me ask you this: at that time, did you have role models? Like growing up, was there somebody who you looked after, or was there like a friend that you kind of hung out with that encouraged you, or how did it come about?
That's a good question because I didn't have anyone like to look up to. I didn't have like,
Yeah,
I
so
want to
you
be
had
like
your
this guy.
dad
He had
there.
money. Like the only inspiration that I had, it was because I read that book and I was like, you know what? There's people who can make it. So if there are people that can make it, I'm sure I can too. So I was like, and then we bought with my brother. We bought a car. Together. Where
Oh, wow.
in the whole in Colombia, my parents never got a car. So when
Oh,
they saw
wow.
we got our first car here, they were like, "Wow!"
And you
this guy-
guys both putting money together to buy your first car?
yeah, both together, man.
What would happen if you had a date and he had a date?
Well, we had to
Rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, that's pretty much, man.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
That's
But no,
crazy.
we shared that car, and we
Yeah.
were living together, so there was no,
Yeah.
he was dating at that time. He was dating someone, so.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I wonder. Like, I wonder how that worked.
But yeah, no, we so that's how we pretty much started together. We help each other. There was one time that we started. So after delivering paper, when I turned 18, when I was able to like actually work.
Yes.
right,
Yeah. That's where we're. Yeah.
Yeah, we I was able to work at a
Did you
factory.
Did you graduate?
No.
No, didn't-
Not yet. They're not
Okay,
yet. No.
okay.
I was still in high school. I was
A
because
junior?
remember how they lowered like your
Yes.
grade. So
You were still a junior in high school?
I still yeah, in junior. I think I was in like my last year, or something like that.
Senior year? Okay.
And then so we started. So no, actually we did. I was actually I didn't graduate. I got my GED from high school.
So, okay.
But once my brother graduated in high school, he did his last year. That's when I started working at this factory.
You
Okay,
started
go
working in a
ahead, okay.
factory.
And it was a factory where
Can we touch on that though? Like,
yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt. As far
No,
as
no,
like,
no, no, go ahead.
because it's important. Because I personally, I got my GED too. I didn't graduate high school. I was going through a lot. My dad died when I was like 17 years old, and I like completely zoned out. Like, I was not thinking about school. I would sit in class, and I remember I'd literally just zone out. So I physically, like mentally, I could not. I didn't finish high school. But I did. I ended up going back and I got my GED. And I think it's important for people because given where you are now, right? Because you're talking about where you came from. You came from Colombia and then you went to Mississippi. You're moving to all these different places just to be where you know who you are today. And I think it's important because there's a lot of kids out there. Yes, you should graduate high school, but in situations like yours or mine or other kids, they're not gonna have the luxury of being able to not have shit to think about. You know what I mean? You had to grow up. Me and you and I. And, you know, just other people in this world have to grow up faster than what we think. So it's like, you know, as much as we wanted to probably graduate high school, our mental wasn't there yet. We went back and got our GED, and look where you are now. So I think it's important. If you can, or if you don't mind touching on it, what was your reason for not graduating high school? And when did that switch? And then when did you feel like you needed to get your GED?
Well, good question, because one of the main reasons was because going to high school, it was taking a lot of my time.
Got you. Okay.
And my brother already graduated from high school. He was
Yeah.
able to work full time.
Okay.
And now I saw, whoa, now his paycheck is more than mine.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So I was like, man, no. I was like, in high school, I was like, I don't even know what I need to graduate for high school. You know, I want to get a degree. So you know what? I decided to get my GED just to maybe to short the time, pretty much.
Okay, got you.
Not because I didn't want to go to school, because I wanted to like make money.
Yeah.
I need to work.
Correct.
That
That's true.
was, you know, I need to, because I need to, you know, we needed to, our goals were we needed to get a house for our parents, you know, because our ultimate goal was to bring our family to the US.
To the United States.
You know,
Wow.
that's,
Yeah.
you know, so we were like, you know what, I'm going to, you know, I just got completed my GED. And
Can you just touch on that though? Because or even just think about it. I think it's crazy because listen, I think it's important to say, bro, you were 18 years old. And the average, and I think it's important because the average 18-year-old, they're thinking about what shoes are they wearing, what clothes, you know, are they popular on social media? You were 18 years old, and your mentality was you needed to bring your parents from Colombia to the United States.
Yes.
Like you didn't have the luxury of being able to just you know, kind of, all right, you know, I'm gonna do this, play sports, do that. You had to bring you had a bigger purpose in mind, and that's something that a lot of people, like I said, what I was saying before, it's like not a lot of people have the luxury of just being able to just live their teens and just have fun. Like you had a bigger purpose in mind.
But you know what it is also, because again, you experience hunger. That's the
Yeah.
big difference. Because you experience, like, I don't have it, like you said, I
So
don't
you gotta
have
get it.
to eat
Yeah.
during lunch. I have to wait to get home. So that's probably why you filled you up. Also, like, you know what? Let's go. We don't need to spend here high school. We need to get moving.
Yeah,
so what
yeah.
did you do after? After?
no, that is true. And also because we were very grateful.
Yeah.
With the parents, you know, not a lot of. It's sad to see a lot of teenagers here that they don't, or you know, like young adults that they're not grateful. They think that things have to be the way it is. You know, like they think that your parents have to feed you because it's their job, or because, you know, like, or give you money. You know, like,
Yeah.
no, you know, you have to be grateful. They're working hard to get you, you know, where you. So we were very grateful with our parents, and we were like, you know what, we have to do whatever it takes to bring them here, because it was their idea to bring us.
Correct.
To the
That
US.
is true.
So you know
That is
what, we're just gonna give back.
Okay, so you got your GED.
And my GED, we started. I started working at this factory. And we had one car, like I told you, no?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
had
yeah.
one car. Actually, we had one car, but during that time, we were having like someone give us like a ride. We didn't.
Okay.
We didn't have a car.
gotcha. Carpool.
Yeah, like a carpool, correct?
Yeah.
We didn't have a car yet. And during winter, there was one time that when we were working, we were expecting, you know, our
Your
you know,
ride.
our friend, our ride, to go to
Yeah.
work. And it was this morning that
Nobody
she
came.
she didn't show up.
Whoa.
And we were like, oh, and we were calling her. We're like, oh my God, man. And then our mentality is like, man, because we're super responsible, man.
Yes,
We're like,
yes.
Hey, and our parents, that's what they told us. You guys have to always be on time. You guys always have to be, like,
Your
especially
word.
like your work, yeah, whatever, like be honest. Like our values is different from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we were like, man, we can skip work, man. That's not us.
Yeah.
So we called, she didn't answer. So we started walking at winter, man. It was snowing.
Winter.
It was bad.
No.
Like I would say maybe like 10 degrees under. Like it was super cold. So we started walking, like, to work. We had an idea where our factory was, because
Yeah.
it was like maybe, and it wasn't that long of a drive. I would say maybe like 15 minutes drive.
But that's like a 30,
But
45-minute walk.
45-minute walk. Yeah, you said it, man. So we were like walking. We were like try to, hey.
Hitchhiking shit.
Exactly, yeah. And then we got lucky. There was the pickup truck who actually picked us up.
No shit.
Yeah, and then they dropped us off at the following light, and we were able just to get. So we got there late, maybe 30 minutes later. We were supposed to start at 6 a.m., and
Yeah.
then we got like 6:30. So we were sharing, and then you have to use these. I don't know if they still use those time cards where you like
You punch in?
Yeah, punch in. Yeah.
So we were in, and we were like, man, no, 30 minutes. No, we're gonna get in trouble. No, we're like, they're gonna fire us. We're like,
Yeah,
super
you were
scared.
scared.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that
You
was
didn't
our
know.
first time.
You
We
didn't know. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And during lunch, because you get your lunchtime during lunchtime, we're sharing with other people. Oh, no, the lady who always pick us up didn't show up. And they were like, so why you guys didn't call sick? And we're like, call sick? What do you mean call sick? Yeah, when you can't make it, just call sick, and then you don't have to come in. And we're like, no, but we're good. We're not sick. What are you talking about? No, you don't.
You're right. You're honest.
Yeah,
you're
like, what's going on?
Holy
and they were like, no,
shit.
people, when things like that happen, people call. You don't have to like do what you guys went. Oh, you didn't have to like walk on the snow. But we didn't know, and we're like,
Dang.
oh,
But your
man.
mentality and
I mean,
where you
that's-
were in that time, like no wasn't an answer. Calling in sick was not an answer.
Exactly. Yes.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So when you grow up like that with that mentality, when everything, you see everything differently, man.
That is
So
true.
when did you like? I don't mean to like jump forward and like pass by time, because all that is important to where you are today. Because for me, listening to you now, I know why you are where you
Where
are
you're
today.
at.
Uh-huh.
Because somebody like me who had the luxury growing up, I didn't grow up rich, but I also didn't grow up poor. You know what I mean? So it was like stuff like that. People take advantage of, calling in sick or just I don't need to go in today. My parents got it or whatever. It wasn't an option for you. So like, when did you start making like real money? What was like your first job where you like saw like, oh man, like I'm making money?
Good, man. Good question. So let's forward.
Yeah.
We so right after I got my GED and I started working in the factory.
Yep.
My brother decided to get his mortgage license.
Oh. Okay.
So
Yes.
listen to this.
Okay.
He got his mortgage license, and then he became a mortgage broker.
Mortgage broker, huh?
So I'm like, yeah, that looks fun. And then I saw like his paycheck was really good.
Uh-huh.
And like, man, this is really good.
What's a
man.
mortgage broker? I don't.
Man, you just represent the person who's looking to buy a house.
Okay.
They get you a loan from a lender.
Loan from a lender.
bank. So whatever, let's say you're looking for a house, and then if I'm a mortgage broker, I represent different lenders. So I can say, you know what, I got you a loan with Bank of America or with Chase.
Oh.
There's many lenders.
But
or
where
banks.
does the profit come in? Because I'm familiar with the word broker, and I know there's profit to be made.
Right, so the profit comes from, there's like an origination fee that they charge the borrower, whoever is
Gotcha.
getting the loan.
Oh,
they,
okay.
they get like an origination fee. Usually,
Sure.
Usually it's 1 point. So, for example, if the property costs $200,000,
Yes.
then there's like a $2,000 commission.
1%.
Just 1%, yeah. Like
Correct.
pretty
Yeah.
much. So he was making good
Kind of like a
money,
real
so-
estate agent.
Kind of, but listen to
But,
this.
yeah.
Kind of. So, you know what? I was like, man, that's really good. So, I started. I got my. I went to get my mortgage license too, and I got my mortgage
License.
Broken
yeah,
license.
Yeah, and I started doing mortgages as well. So I got my mortgage, doing mortgages, and when I saw so there's the settlement statement. Back then it's called the HUD. It's like the closing statement.
Yes.
When you see all the, when you see everything listed, all the fees.
The bill of sale, like all the numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the settlement statement from the title company.
Yeah.
When you close on a house, on a
Oh, okay,
property,
got you. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
where you see
Settlement
all
statement,
the,
all the
that's
monies and
correct.
stuff. Okay.
So you see there the realtor's commission too. You can see who the realtor is. You can see all the you see all the fees.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Nothing is hidden. So I saw like, man, the realtor is making a really good commission.
Yeah.
And my commission is not that good, man,
No.
Yeah.
compared to the realtor's
Yeah,
commission.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna become a real estate agent.
Oh,
Look at
shit.
that.
This is where the money, you know.
Yeah,
see?
yeah, of course. That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I look at the commissions, real estate commission. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna become a realtor. Then I got my real estate license.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? Now I'm a realtor. I'm gonna start selling property, and I started, hustling.
This is
selling-
in Chicago, right? Or
This is well, no. So
'Cause I know we
moved-
fast forward,
Yeah,
I'm
because
just
we forward.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was doing mortgages, that was in Chicago.
Chicago.
When I started doing real estate is when I moved to Florida.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So and that's why it's important to
Yeah.
because obviously Florida real estate and obviously Chicago real estate is two different,
Two
two completely different things.
Correct.
So you got your mortgage license and then you moved to Florida, or you got your real estate license first and then like what made you want to come down to Florida? Like
Because my brother moved to Florida first.
okay,
Oh,
gotcha.
that's
okay,
right.
okay, gotcha.
So you know what? That's kind of cool that you guys are saying.
Yeah.
You guys are growing together.
Yeah.
Right? So if you could, I'm gonna take a little thing, but if you can look at that camera.
Yeah.
And what would you say to brothers that are like right now, like they're both kind of thinking of doing, but maybe one wants to go this way, one wants to go that way. What advice could you give some brothers that are kind of like in the middle? Should they stick together? Should they make a plan, or should they fly alone?
I would say that you guys have to stick together because you can't do it alone. And you need someone on your side. And nothing better than having a brother who can support you and who can listen to you and who can actually, because you always need that person, and especially if it's a family member.
Yeah.
I would say if you guys have any issues with your brother, with your siblings, talk about it. But, this is family goes first. So try to,
To mend that.
whatever
yeah,
it
for
is.
sure.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
So would you say your brother helped you become like the better you, and then you helped your brother become the better? Like, would you guys?
Yeah, we
like-
were looking always after each other. And when I saw that, because this guy is very ambitious. My brother is like, man, I can see myself, this guy, I can see like his vision, how he wanted to,
Yeah.
and I was like, and I'm more humble. I'm like not, I don't like to show up that much, but he's the other way. He's
Other
like,
way around,
hey,
yeah.
I got this, look at me, and I'm like, you know what, but it's good because, that's how, that makes you feel good. Why
Yeah.
not?
Exactly.
And I look up to him, and then of course I decided to. So he moved to. So at the age of 18, I got married. He got married. We wanted to actually legalize ourselves. Because we came here with a visa. Now we needed to
Have like a permanent.
like a
permanent.
parent, yeah.
Okay.
So we got married. We got our we got everything good straight. So he and his wife came to Florida. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to Florida and I'm gonna get my real estate license.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay.
But he came to Florida with doing mortgages.
Okay, gotcha.
So like, you know what, I'm gonna get my real estate license, and I'm going to maybe we can help each other. We can see what.
Yeah, he's got the mortgage side.
the
You got you're bringing in. Yeah.
So that was our plan. So I moved to Florida, got my real estate license, and then I started looking at the settlement statement again. Every time I close out, that's how you.
No, that's right.
When you see the numbers, when you see I'm a visual person. And
Correct.
I think
Oh, wow,
most
yeah.
people are,
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I'm a real estate agent. I'm making good commission right now. Good. But then, let's say I'm representing you, man.
Yeah.
And I see you bought a house from me.
Yeah.
Then you fixed that house. You did a whole rehab. And then you sold the house because I sold your house.
Yeah.
And then I saw you make more money than my commission. Man, that's insane, man. No. This can't. And I did all the work. Are you listening?
No,
I
yeah,
did all the work.
No,
yeah,
listen.
yeah.
This guy's making 50 grand, 100 grand, 150 grand, 200 grand.
And
Or
he's
property,
looking for the property. You're
For the
looking
property, for
And
the
I'm
property,
getting
selling the
$5,000
property.
on my
Yeah.
commission. I'm like, $5,050? No way. No. I'm in the wrong business, man. So I'm like, you know what? I'm still licensed. I have I keep my real estate license, but I started to investing on myself. I'm gonna become you.
Yeah.
I don't wanna
work for you.
Exactly,
I want to
yeah.
become you. Basically.
So I saw the way they were looking for a house. I try to learn from them, And that's how I started. That's how pretty much I started making money.
Yeah.
with real estate. Buy a cheap property, fix it up, sell it, boom.
So let's talk about that because I think it's really important for somebody who wants to that's something that I've always been wanting to do. Like my big dream, like long-term goal, like I don't know, wherever I'm at, whether it's Texas or whatever. One of my biggest dreams is I want to like own apartments, whether it's condos or whether it's duplexes or even apartment complexes. So you starting off, you don't know anything about, like, you know a little bit about real estate, right? But as far as like now you're on a new avenue, which you're buying property, fixing it up and selling it. How did you finance that? Like, are you doing it with credit cards? Are you doing it with cash from your real estate, or are you doing personal loans? Like, how are you financing that? So
Good question.
your first deal, run us through
Yeah,
it.
because there's people out there that want to do that and they
Right.
don't know. So what advice can you give them?
So one of the things that I'm impressed with this country is that here they want to lend you money.
Okay.
Say it
Here,
again. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
They
say
want
it
to
again.
give you money.
Yee!
And this is the reason why, because
They want to give you money.
they do, man. Because coming from Colombia,
Yeah.
people buy things cash. Like they pretty much they don't finance
Hispanic
things.
culture. We talk about it all the
Yeah,
time.
Hispanic, cash.
I don't understand. And when I saw the opportunity here that, hey, you don't have to use your money, that somebody is going to give you the money to buy things, I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
There's only one thing you have to do. You know, keep your good credit score.
Yeah.
You have a good credit score?
Keep your good credit score.
Man, that's so. Of course, and
Use the bank's money, not your money.
exactly that's key. When you start leveraging that money, you know,
Yes.
when you use somebody else's money, you can do so many things.
Yeah.
Correct.
Huge things. And so how did I get my
Yes.
first deal? We got it with, first we bought our first home.
Okay, but like, how? So, did you apply for a loan? Did you do an LLC? Did you
No. So our first property, we bought our first home was when we were like maybe 19, 20.
Okay.
Like, we were very young, and that was for us.
For you guys, okay.
Because we bought it for us. 0% down, you know, there's a lot of programs that you can buy with 0% down.
First-time buyer
for
programs.
First-time home buyers, exactly.
Correct.
Once you get into a property and you're living there, we got equity on the property, and then what do? We refinance the home, and now
Okay.
we have what? You do a cash out. You get money.
Yes.
With that cash, then you can start buying another property, and then you start using that money to put down payment, which is not much, you know?
Yeah.
And then you finance it with the bank.
Ah.
You see?
Correct. That's true.
So that's how we started first buying homes without using
Your
like,
personal
like,
money.
like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
like our own money, right?
So when you say refinancing a home, that's like your cash. That's your taking out the equity in your house.
Correct. So,
Okay.
So
An equity loan, basically.
It's
taking
very
out-
it's very similar because when and it's better doing an equity like a line of credit. You just take
Yes, I heard that.
you know,
Line of credit,
take-
yes.
taking the money out from like equity from your property, do a line of credit, and then use that to invest it again, or just to do home improvements. But during that time, we didn't have that knowledge. So
Okay,
what
gotcha.
we did is we refinanced that property, which means we pretty much closed on the same home,
Yes.
and then we got cash out. But now we have to use that. Now our loan is bigger. So instead of, let's say we bought the property for 200,
Yes.
and then by the time we refinance, the property is worth 250, and let's say we were able to take 50,000 out.
Correct.
Yes. Now we have a 250,000 loan instead of 200,000.
Oh, that's right. You increased it. Yeah.
Increase. What's better to do is, instead of refinancing the home, if you need cash to invest,
To play with. Yeah.
you don't need to refinance your home. You just, if you know you have a $50,000 equity in your property, just get a line of credit, and you only pay for what you use. So if you only use 10 grand, you don't have to. You only pay interest for those 10,000. You don't have
That's
to use.
smart.
That's when we started doing it like later. But in the beginning, we didn't. You always learn.
You live and learn. You live and learn.
Exactly.
learn.
Yeah.
So your first
stumble.
one, you took out the loan and you used your equity to purchase another home under your guys' name. So you
Correct,
had
yeah,
multiple
personal.
properties in your name. How does that work? Having multiple properties, was it easy or?
Because in the beginning, because we didn't have that knowledge. We did it under our names, which later on we learned the best way to put it under an LLC. So in the beginning, okay, I'm just telling you like our mistakes that we were doing. In
For
the
sure,
beginning.
yeah, no.
And one of the reasons we put it under our name is because when you put a property under your name, you get lower down payments. You can get a FHA. Like you move.
Yes.
So we bought let's say a townhome. Then now we move to another home, and we can buy the next home again as a primary home because you're it's a bigger home,
Correct.
so you don't need to come up with that much down.
20%, right?
Exactly. You don't need to come up with 20% because if it's your primary home, you still need like maybe that 3.5%, which we know what FHA requires.
Yeah.
But now you own a townhome, which now you can rent out. See? And now you have, so you can do that until maybe 3 properties. You cannot do it maybe, I would say maybe 2 or 3 because you're not supposed to. You can't just buy primary homes all the time.
Yeah.
So
Because they're gonna catch up to you. They're gonna be like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
yeah,
hold
yeah,
on.
you're like, what-
How many houses are you living in?"
there's no
Which
way.
one's yours?
Yeah, so in the beginning, of course, we got a townhome, then we got a bigger house. Of course, makes sense because you're buying your family is increasing or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But then, but where the real money comes in is where you start using private money.
Private money.
And the reason you use private money is because lenders. It's hard for a lender to lend you money because maybe you don't show enough income, or maybe because you do your taxes and you don't show. A lot of people do a lot of write-offs.
That's
Yes.
true.
And,
That is
and,
true.
and you hurt yourself because by the time you're gonna get a loan, then they don't lend you because they don't see you making
Right,
enough
yeah.
profit. So when you get, so the reason we get private money is because it's something that you can get quick, and if you know what you're doing, you're gonna pay it back right away.
Yeah.
So if I knew that buying a property is gonna take me, let's say, 4 or 5 months, while during the time that I buy it, I fix it up and then I sell it, it's gonna take me like maybe 4 or 5 months. I know that whoever is gonna lend me the money, I'm gonna pay them back within 6 months.
And
they're
you
gonna
let
get
them
it
know,
back.
yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if I pay them just interest. Man, I'm making a lot of money on
Yeah.
this property.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay. If my interest rate is gonna be 10, 12%, that's okay. Because what I'm getting back.
And you're doing it for a short term. You're doing it for a short
Exactly.
term. And it's funny because I'm not suggesting it, but what I've seen is there's this thing called a people-to-people loan, like where you kind of do that. Like somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I need to borrow 20,000," and you give 20,000, and it's like at 18%, like a high percentage. But what people don't realize is that, like hey, you said it, instead of they do it for 2 years, 3 years, so it makes money, but you can pay it off in 6 months, in 4 months, and you have 20,000 to use. You pay it off, and like nothing happened. You don't pay much.
Exactly. And let me tell you something. When you have, people sometimes worry because, man, it sounds easy. Like, I don't think, people don't believe it. Like, how can,
Yeah.
Because it's too easy, right?
Right.
It's
But-
I'm on that boat. I'm like, that sounds like something that's easy.
man, but when you find a good deal, if I got the money and you got a good deal, I'm like, I don't know what to do with my money. Man, here it is, pay me 20%, whatever. If it's good for you, you're like, yeah, of course, because you get a good deal,
Yeah.
and I'm getting a good return.
Yeah.
I don't have a good deal. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Then, once you come up with a good deal, there's tons of private lenders that will be like, let me take a look at your deal.
And these are private investors and
Private investors,
yeah.
and there's a lot of private money out
People
there.
with money that that are willing to make it. They don't want to do anything. They just, here's the money, you make it, and the way that I want to make money is by lending you money.
And
Gotcha.
they don't use the bank because they know that putting the money in a CD or interest rates in the bank is what 0.02.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nothing,
it's ridiculous.
nothing.
Yeah, it's like nothing.
I used to work for the bank.
Yeah.
I was a VP.
That's
and-
right. Yeah, that's right.
And man, I was giving, like, our promotion was maybe like the best rate. It was like a 3-month CD or whatever. It was like maybe 2%, the max. And people were fighting, getting credit to deposit money.
I have one right now at Banco ZK. 3%.
They're grabbing that neck. They're like, what a deal, right? They're like, what a deal.
I know, it's just
That
sitting
is not a
there.
deal, man. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to disappoint you, but man,
No, I just did it to help out my boy. Shout out Hector.
but it's not like because
I
that's what
know.
banks do. They get your money and they put it. They just
They use it.
They
So you
use
might
it.
as well use it.
exactly. You have to know what you're doing. So it's always learn from others, and that's pretty much the way you can start making money.
So okay, so given that, all right, so you started from your background, you're there, now you're doing, you were doing real estate, now you're starting to sell, so you're starting to get a little bit of money, right? So how did it go from, you being in real estate, now you were working at a bank for so long, and then now you have this opportunity?
You know what? Yeah, let's talk now about this opportunity.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about my transition.
From the bank.
That is true. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because I got my real estate license. I started doing real estate and all that. I started investing in real estate. And in 2008, 2009, when the market went down,
Yeah.
I was too, man. We went down. I had a lot
Yeah.
of property. Everyone went down. So during that time, I had a lot of free time because I was like, man, I'm not, like properties are going underwater. The investors that I work with, they were foreclosing on their properties.
Wow.
I was like, man, this is not a good time to, like. So what I decided to do, I always look at the opportunity, and I'm like,
Sure.
you know what? I'm gonna use this free time to go back to school.
Oh, wow. How old were you when you went back to school?
I was 20. Let's see. I rather not answer that question
Yeah,
because
no,
I don't
no,
want you to
right.
guess my.
But you
No,
okay?
but
But you went to
the
back.
reason
you went
I'm
to back?
asking is because I'm 26 and I've been thinking about going back to school.
Okay,
So, but that's why it's
yeah,
important
no, yeah, you
because
can, any age. There's no
Sure,
age
sure.
to go back to school because just to let you know, I'm married. I had 2 children.
Sure.
And I went to school with 2 children and
Yeah.
married. So I went to school. I went back to school. I got my MBA.
Oh wow, yeah.
Okay.
After I graduated, that's when I got an opportunity to work for the bank.
Okay, gotcha.
Because
After you graduated, you worked for the bank.
Yeah, I got my MBA, and then they say, you know what, John? Now that you got your MBA, we're gonna give you an opportunity to work with businesses.
Oh, wow, yeah.
doing
That's
business.
nice.
And I'm so the school worked out, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm doing real estate, but I actually wanted to, because one of the things when you're young and you're working for commission only, if you don't know how to finance yourself, you can hurt yourself, big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, if you're young, you want to buy, good things, expensive things, and of course, when I was making good money, when I was 24, I got my Ford 911, my Porsche 911, at 24 years old.
Oh,
24.
24 years old,
24,
owned your first Porsche.
Can you imagine? And I'm like,
Wow.
man, I was like, but of course, if I go back, I was like, man, I should have do something else instead of like spending the money
Yeah,
just
of
like that.
Yeah.
Which I don't regret because beautiful.
It was
car,
fun, yeah, yeah.
At
You had your
24, you
fun.
were the king of the
Yeah,
world.
you're
like
on top of the world, bro.
A
Like,
Porsche at 24.
And and money brings more money. So when you're driving a nice car, of course, what
Say
they
it
do
again.
is they just, it's like a magnet. People just come to you for some
money
reason.
brings more money.
But yeah. So I went back to school. I got my MBA. I started going working for the bank, for a big bank, working with business owners. And after 4 years, I was recruited by someone from Bank OCK to work as a VP at the Lakewood Ranch office. So I started working there, working with business owners. And one of the things that I learned from the bank is that, and I'm super grateful. Everything that I go through, I'm grateful because things happen for a reason.
For
and
sure.
So working at the bank, I was able to learn from business owners. And that's what you want to learn from. You want to learn from people that already made the mistake so you don't make it.
Correct.
So I was looking at business owners, seeing how they were, like they come to me, open an account. I see their account very, maybe with a few $1,000, and then a year later, I see $1 million in their account. And I'm like, whoa! I need to see with this guy. Hey, what's your advice?
What are you doing? Yeah.
What are you doing? You're doing something right.
Yeah.
And there's some other business owners that they open their businesses, and then 6 months later they were closing their accounts. No, I had to close my restaurant. I have to close this.
Oh no.
And then I was like, man. So I saw all different type of business owners.
Sure.
So I learned from them the good and the bad.
Yeah.
During that time, which is when COVID started,
Yep.
everyone was freaking out.
Correct.
Hey, businesses were closing. Businesses were like,
It was crazy. COVID was crazy.
Yeah, everyone was like. But then I always look. There's always 2 sides of the coin, man.
Yes.
This is
When
true.
something is wrong, there's something good happening on the other side
Yeah.
all the time. And I'm like, man, this guy, but there should be something good about all this. There's
Yes.
always a good thing. I was able to do a partnership with a medical lab in Chicago,
Yep.
because when they came into actually he is my brother-in-law.
Oh, he's your brother-in-law.
He's my brother-in-law.
Okay. I was supposed to say, how did you get that connection from Chicago?
Because he came to visit my wife, which is the sister, and he saw that there was only here in Florida they didn't, or here in this area in Bradenton, they only had one testing site for COVID. which
wow.
was by the UTC area, by the, like they were.
Oh,
doing
the
it.
big giant.
the
Yeah,
big-
that's
Yeah, the
a-
big one, the big one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And when he came from Chicago, he was like, "Man, can you imagine in Chicago we have, like, there's a lot of them, a lot of testing
Yeah.
sites all over the place, like in every corner." And I'm like, "Really? There's nothing here, man. You have
You have
trust
a
me.
gold mine.
Yeah, you have to put
A testing
site.
center.
Let's do a partnership here.
It was his idea.
It was his idea." And I'm like, and I'm working at the bank, and I'm like, man, I don't know. But,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then a testing site, and then
Yeah, because
COVID.
let's be honest, bro. Nobody let's open up a testing site. Like,
you're like-
what the hell do I know about a testing
I
site?
know, and then COVID, and then
Yeah.
and then he had this medical lab, and I'm like, I didn't even know what a lab was. I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
like, okay." So I was like,
You didn't go to school to be a doctor or anything. You had
nothing, man.
no medical history at all.
Yeah, no. My background in medical was like
Yeah.
zero, man.
A
You know-
Band-Aid.
yeah,
You
yeah.
put a Band-Aid.
Yeah. The only time I went to a lab was to get lab work for like a background check for that
Yeah,
to work. Yeah,
for sure.
That's the only time that I went to. So he's like, "No, trust me," and I'm like, "Okay, let's do a partnership. I'll put it here, and then we just open one testing site." The government was paying for the test, so people don't pay for the test. People were getting your COVID test
For
at no
free.
cost.
Yeah, for free. Yeah, yeah.
For free. And I'm like, well, no one is paying, so that, they don't pay, so I don't have to worry about like
Selling your products.
Exactly, selling. So I saw it more like a service to the community. I'm like, you know what? I like to serve the community. I'm involved with Rotary. I'm involved with a lot of nonprofits. So I'm always involved in helping this community.
Correct.
And I'm like, this is another way to give back. Why
Yeah.
not? Now that there's only one testing site here, I'm gonna just put one here close. That's when I started in Lake Ranch. I'm gonna put one here, and I'm gonna give the opportunity to the community so they can, instead of them driving all over there,
To UTC,
come to
which was at that point packed,
and
bro.
people were making lines. And I'm
3
like,
hours you had to wait just to even get tested. That's not even your results, just to get
just to
tested.
get tested. Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and open this testing site over here. Yes, let's. And I spread the word. Hey, coming soon, a testing site here, supporting our community. Get tested, get your results. So we ship. So the way it works is we collect, because we don't even have to have like nurses or anything. Anyone
No?
could. No, you just collect, because it's a self-test. It's like like a pregnancy test. You just swab in your nose, send it back, and send it to the lab.
Mm-hmm.
They process, and then the lab, they send the results directly
So
to the patient.
you don't even have to.
Nada,
What?
man. So I was like, what?
All
let's
you
do
literally
this.
had to do was stand there, give people the tests. They do everything else. Bro, what?
So I hired 2 guys, 2
Yeah.
ladies,
Yeah.
and I explained what to do.
Yeah.
to whatever. You have to collect this, write their names, put it in here, send it to the. I told them, very easy process. Listen to this, man. People were lining up to get tested.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, man. So I needed more people.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this can be, this can be. And of course, the government pays the lab. And because I had a partnership with my brother-in-law,
Sure.
so he will pay me.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I just kept that one. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to wait until I get paid, because this is.
You want to see.
I wanna-
risk. It's
Yeah,
a
you
risk.
have.
It's a
Yeah,
risk.
of course. You're not
And
just gonna be like.
yeah.
You're
And
not
I'm,
gonna go
and
blind.
I'm working at the bank, and
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, something that I do is, when I commit to something, I'm serious about it. I don't want to be like jumping around. Or,
Yeah.
So I'm like, I commit to the bank, and when I work for the bank, And once I got my first deposit, and I was like, whoa. I was like, man.
Immediately he was like, like before everything else, I'm making this much. Let me open up like 5 of these.
You're right. You know what I did? I created a team. I created a team, and I opened in total 23 sites
Wow,
within
bro.
3 months.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is
Not only that,
crazy.
but I had about 70 people working for me. 70.
Are you serious?
It was like my high. You know what was my payroll weekly?
Uh,
100,000
oh,
100,000.
weekly.
You're paying 100,000.
Just imagine.
I could just imagine what you're getting.
That's crazy, bro.
It was insane.
That is crazy.
So I was like, no. So of course, and I had to go to Chicago to to the lab for meetings and doing all these things. And I'm like, so I had to. Man, I cannot stay in two places at once.
Yes.
So I had to let go of the bank and actually focus.
Wow.
On this because this
I mean,
actually
shit,
was,
yeah.
like this was like big.
No brainer, yeah.
Continue doing it until the time when the government, which is HRSA, stopped paying for the test.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they said, you know what? Because the government, it was like about I don't know how many billion, like $23 billion available for COVID, just for COVID.
Yes.
So they ran out of money. Well, they stopped.
Yeah,
They stopped paying these clinics for this test. So when that happened, then I have to shut down because I was not.
Yeah.
I could have continued, but
Yeah.
then I have to start charging people,
Yeah.
and then that will make a big mess because
nobody.
with so many sites and it's different because
Yes.
my model
Now-
was free.
Yeah.
And especially because you were doing a service to the
There's,
community.
there's a
You
difference
didn't-
between community service and competing. At that point, you had to compete.
Exactly. Yes. My mentality was and listen to this when you have a mindset of good, like hey,
Yeah.
what I was thinking was, you know what, I want to give back. I want to give to the community.
Yeah.
Because you have that type of mentality, that's when you get back. Automatically life give you back.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about good, and I was just being blessed. Because
Yeah.
what comes from your heart. Whatever you grow is what you get. And so I was like, you know what, it might be a good business here, but I'm just gonna shut it down because I can't charge people.
Yeah.
So I decided to close everything and use the funds that I made from COVID, and then I learned how to do. I ended up my partnership, and I decided to open up my own lab.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
not only doing COVID, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. It's a full service lab.
Yeah.
Where people can not only get COVID tested, but
COVID test, blood work.
Blood
You got
work,
like what is it?
you do like CBC, like
CBC.
chemistry, hematology,
Yeah.
everything that involves blood,
Yeah.
Allergies too. Let's say
Allergies.
Oh,
Another
yeah.
thing
Several
too,
grounds.
like when they do background checks and they gotta see if you're,
if you drug and alcohol,
drug
yes,
and
all
alcohol
that stuff,
tests.
yes,
Which there's always gonna be a need for that.
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what
That's
my focus
crazy.
is. Yeah. And so originally I wanted to lease out a space for the lab. When I opened
Yeah.
the lab, when I leased a space, and it was crazy how, because right now the leases are really expensive.
They're expensive.
Real estate
Yeah,
right
they're
now is
expensive.
crazy.
Real estate's
Rent is
crazy,
that's
bro.
high. I couldn't find a good, like something in a reasonable price, and not only that, but they wanted me to do like a lease for 7 years or 10 years lease.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be tied up in a lease. For
They wanted
7,
to
10
lock you
years.
in, yeah.
Exactly. Plus, I have to do some renovations on the place. I'm putting it for that whoever owns this, whatever building it is. I was like, you know what? If my background is in real estate, man.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna buy the property.
Yeah.
Man, I bought the building, and then I use it for.
That is crazy.
He said, "That's not what I want. I want to buy a building."
But just like
Because
every
you-
single step though.
Because you're right. Because you have to put money in. Because with a lab, like a lot of people don't know this, but with a lab, they have to have special rooms. Like they have to be like special temperature or whatever. So you're right. So you weren't gonna put that money in. And just like Alex said, you used what you learned. Like you learned this,
Like, dude,
you
like
learned that, you
it's
learned that.
everything full circle. Everything that you started from when you talked about your youth and you growing up, it literally like it came back full circle, and it's like, all right, it was almost like, I don't know if you're religious or not or whatever you believe in, whether it's God or a higher being or whether it's just life in general. Everything that you use in the beginning, right, in different stages of your life, it's like, all right, now it's time to gather all that information and just boom. And it's like, dang, like you look back at it, it's like you use your real estate, like you use, your hustle, You know, when you had to hustle when
Mm-hmm.
you were younger and you're doing these COVID tests and stuff like that. So it's just like, and now like you have your business, which you use your real estate, you're using your hustle, you're using the money that you made, and it's like now you have your personal own business, which is like that is crazy.
Yeah, that's it's just
That's a crazy
That
story.
is. So with this, with this part of the business, are you thinking of maybe partnering up with companies to come and get their employees test, or what are you thinking of doing with this business?
right. So that's what we're trying to do right now. We're building up relationships, partnerships with other
Companies.
physicians, doctors, because the majority of these doctors, what they do is they refer it to the big labs.
Yeah, LabCorp and
LabCorp, Quest, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with how they work, but they don't even have labs here. Their lab is in Tampa, somewhere else. So what they have here are collecting sites.
Like a satellite.
It's like, right. So what they do is you go there thinking you're getting your blood work, and then you're gonna get it there. But what they do is they take your specimen, and
Yeah.
then a carrier gets that.
That's why I see all those little vans running around.
Exactly, and then they take it to the lab.
Oh.
So what happens during that time? By the time your specimen gets into the lab and they process your test, it's not 100% accurate.
That is true. That is
Wow.
true.
And because
temperature-
you don't know if the carrier has it at the right temperature, if he's moving it the way it's supposed to be moving.
Wow.
There's so many pieces that people don't understand.
so many variables. You're right.
I didn't even
And,
think of that. Like,
and
that's crazy.
Not only that, but what happens is that people think that they are, by using these big labs, they're doing good. Like, hey,
yeah.
And the reality is that during that time, so many things can happen.
Yeah.
So many things can happen.
It reaches a level where it's quantity versus quality, and I think where you would be doing quality work because you're here, you're local. And
I'm local. I
instead
have
of-
the instruments local.
Yeah.
I process. So when you come in, we get your specimen, and when we right there,
Yeah.
we go ahead and process your test right there in there. So everything is right there. Nothing goes. The only time that it's gonna go away is when someone is looking for a specific test that maybe it requires millions of dollars of instruments to process that test, which
gotcha.
is maybe rare test.
Yeah.
Of course, we will offer those tests, but what we're gonna do is we're going to maybe use a reference lab to do that.
Yeah.
Which is okay,
Which it's gonna be going somewhere anyway. Like,
Exactly,
whether you
yes.
use us or yeah.
But that's one of the main reasons people, when they do lab work and they see the results like in a month later, they say, why did it change so much? Why my cholesterol was this high
Yeah,
and now
wow.
this, and I've been eating, the same. It's because it was not processed properly,
Wow. That's important.
That
I mean,
is
that
important.
It is
determines
important.
like what medication you're taking, like
Everything.
what. Yeah.
Everything, yeah.
That's crazy.
So what would be your turnaround time that you're looking at? I mean, give it
So
back.
on the results?
Yes, on the
Yeah,
results.
our goal is to get those results back within 24 hours. Most
Oh,
of our
wow.
labs
Oh,
within,
yeah.
within 24 hours, yes. Because we have the instruments in
You're
there,
right.
So our goal is to maybe partner up with other labs because they're going to be using us instead of, because a lot of people, what they do is labs also use other labs to
Yeah.
get, to get the job done. And our goal is maybe to be that lab where people can just send us to us and we can process everything in there.
Wow. That's crazy.
So would this be like insurance, cash? What are you kind of focused on?
That is a good question. So right now we're gonna start with self-pay.
Okay.
And the reason I say this is because a lot of people don't want to involve insurance. Why? Because they don't want you to know how your health is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Once you take insurance, they already know, oh, this guy has diabetes, and then they are aware. People don't like that.
Yeah.
You know what? I want this is private. This is my privacy, my health.
Private health.
So
yeah.
you are in charge of your own health, so you get your results and you just do it. So people pay cash. And the majority of lab, they don't, is not covered by insurance. Like the allergies,
Oh,
like
wow.
when I say, hey, what type of, some people are allergic to different type of foods. That type of test, is not covered by insurance.
Yeah.
So the majority of these labs are not covered by insurance. And there's some that, yes, but our goal right now is just to target people with high deductibles, no insurance, and people that don't want to get involved, And there's a lot of demand with that,
Yeah, for sure.
So we might not use insurance at this time. We'll see in the future, but for now, people don't care to pay for the lab. Yeah.
And you're absolutely right because privacy is a big thing. And
Yeah.
sometimes, like, you just want to go in there, just want this result, but they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we see that you have high blood pressure. Maybe you should do this, do that." And it's like, "Well, I just came to get like a test for my job. Like, I don't need all this." So privacy sometimes is a lot better.
Exactly. Yes, that's key, man.
Dang, that's crazy. But okay, so given your journey and given everything, right? I think it's like to put like a kind of like an exclamation mark on everything that we just discussed. What are some like habits that you feel like that you've implemented in your life that you feel like you could tell like the people who are watching? Just like habits that you've picked up through over the years that you maybe you still do today.
Yeah, yes, consistency is key, man. You want to be
Consistent.
consistent on the stuff that you do. One of the habits that I try to do is, I try to read at least 30 minutes a day. Just read something, something that is that you're going to learn from.
Okay.
It's good because the more you learn, the better. I believe in balance, a balanced life. You want to also exercise, do some exercise, go to the gym, spend time with your family. So whatever you do, it's not about money.
Yeah, okay.
It's about being. It's about having a balanced life.
Yeah,
Happiness, of course, money makes people happy.
sure.
But if you think about it, you want to have a good health.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people, that good money, but they don't have the
they don't have
health.
good health.
health,
Their
their
family
oxygen.
situation. They're either on drugs or they don't have any quality of life. They have a lot of money, but it's like their actual values and everything they're not in the right places.
Correct.
So you have a lot of people who are rich in money but broken health.
That's true.
Yeah.
And so I try, I try to keep everything balanced. I'm a man of faith, so I'm a believer, and the reason I do well is because I just give the glory to God.
For
to
sure,
be honest,
for sure.
because that's the way I'm here is because He done everything, and there's some situations that people, everyone go through, but if you don't have that faith,
Yeah,
it's
You
tough,
fall.
man.
There you go.
There's something that says that when you live with maybe with anger or I would say discouragement,
yeah.
it's because you're living in the past.
Mm.
If you're living in fear, it's because you're living in the future.
In the future.
Right, but when you live at peace,
You're living in today.
in the present, yes, and that's what life
That
makes
is so.
sense.
That's so good. Yeah.
And it's true. Think about it.
No, you don't.
No.
Dang, that is so true.
Man. So I'm always, like try to enjoy every moment of my life. A good daily routine. Exercising, reading, spending time with the family, with friends, networking, helping the community, giving back. There's a purpose in life, man, and you have to if you don't know why you're here, then there's no how do I say this, man? There's no point.
Yeah.
You wanna be useful in life.
Figure out your purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all, man.
And then lastly, before we go, I don't know if Christian has anything to say after this, but before we go, what's like a quote that you could leave everybody with? What's like your favorite quote that that you live by or whatever? Maybe that's a quote that maybe changed your life or something that you can leave with the audience.
Something short and simple. I say, I never lose. I either win or learn.
Hey.
Yo,
That's it, man. Yeah.
that's a winning mentality.
You have
Hell
to always,
yeah.
and that's another habit that I do before I go
Yeah.
to bed and when I wake up. I say, something good is gonna happen tomorrow. Something good is gonna happen, man.
Dang.
And when you go to bed with thinking
just
like
that positive mindset.
and you wake up and you're like, man, something good is gonna happen today, and
Yeah.
you just keep repeating it.
Manifesting
Things
it,
happen,
right?
man.
Manifest it. Yeah,
you
you
just-
manifest
Good
it. You believe
things
it.
happen.
Good things.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Good things happen.
Dang.
Man. So
Yo,
I don't know. Yeah,
I can't beat that. So I think we're good. You know what, John? Thank you so
Yo,
much.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
bro.
we-
man,
we-
thanks for
we
inviting me.
appreciate
Hell yeah,
you.
bro.
No,
Shit.
man. You
And
guys-
this is the Connect. If you haven't subscribed, follow us, subscribe, like, share.
For sure.
And we're gonna post all the information for the lab because I know a lot of people are gonna be interested in it. And thank you so much for all this knowledge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
no,
sure,
and I
man.
wanna thank you guys. Thanks for your support and any questions, whatever you have. Always, Follow me at All Labs today, and I'm here for you
Yee.
guys.
This has been the Connects. Thanks, guys.
There you go.
Wrap.